Good morning and welcome to this week's video. I am so excited that you're joining me today. Today we are here in Horizons Park in Germantown, North Carolina, and we're just out doing a little bit of a nature stroll. So Horizon Park has two nature trails, like hiking trails, and there's a loop A and then a loop B. Today we're just going to do loop A, which is the shorter of the two trails, and we're just going to be kind of taking our time. So I have with me with my Nikon Z6 today, I actually technically have 3 lenses, but I'm really just gonna be focusing on 2 of my lenses. And those are my 2 newest lenses, which is the MC 105mm macro lens, and then also the ultra wide 17 to 28mm lens. So I will be kind of talking a little bit about, in this video, why I chose to purchase those 2 lenses. As opposed to some other lenses, along with sharing some photos from today, and then also that I've taken since I've bought the lenses several months ago. So you're going to see kind of a little bit of a variety of the photos that I've taken using these 2 lenses. But more importantly, we are just out here enjoying nature and trying to find some things that are pretty to take photos of. So without further delay, let's get the photography hike underway. So one of the things that I've been doing, because it is an overcast day, there is no sun whatsoever breaking through any of the clouds and into the trees to make any interesting lighting within the forest. I've been spending a lot of time looking down, looking for interesting little things along on the forest floor to take photos of. And I've been noticing a lot of club mosses growing, and I have been specifically looking for the spores of the club moss, only so I could share a little photography factoid. And lo and behold, I finally found spores of a club moss. So here is my little photography factoid for the day. Club mosses, the spores of the club moss is highly flammable. And in early flash photography, the spores of the club moss was used to help make that spark. It was also used in Victorian theaters for like fireworks or pyrotechnics. So there's your just a little fact for the day is club moss has a little lure in early photography. So anyways, I'm going to try to take a photo of this. I do have my tripod, so I'm going to get my tripod out and I'm going to set this up. It is very low light, so I'm going to try to use a slower shutter speed that will allow me to take a good photo of this. I might also focus stack this just because of the shallow depth of field. I will be using my macro lens, so hopefully I can get a nice good photo of this for you. And if the final image that I share ends up being focus stacked, I'll let you know how many photos were used as part of that stack. If it doesn't say focus stacked, then that means that I just decided I liked the photo that wasn't photo stacked. So anyways, without further delay, I'm gonna take off my bag, break out the tripod, and snap some photos. Okay, so I'm underneath the American holly tree, and I think I got some really cool photos of the tree from a low vantage point with that 17 to 28mm lens. And so what I did is I got down pretty low and I just shot straight up, because this American holly tree has a whole bunch of different branches and trunks that are reaching up to the sky. So I feel like with shooting that ultra wide angle lens and shooting upwards, it just kind of made for this reaching feeling of going through the photograph from the bottom to the top. And so I think this was just an excellent place to be able to utilize that ultra wide angle lens. And so I'm going to go ahead and share that photo with you right now that I captured of the American holly tree. And then after the photo, I'm going to talk a little bit about why I chose the lenses that I did, especially that ultra wide angle lens, because there are a couple different options available for the Nikon Z6 mirrorless system. So anyways, I hope you enjoy the photo of this American holly tree. And then when we come back from that photo, I'll talk a little bit about camera lenses. I wanted to take a quick moment to talk about this composition of this mushroom that I found along the trail, with my swapped back to my macro lens. And so with this camera settings, first I'll just tell you what the camera settings are. They're 1/80th of a second, aperture is f4.5, and my ISO is set at 800, because even though you can kind of see a little bit more sun poking through the clouds, it's still fairly dark here along the forest floor. So those are my camera settings. And so what I did is, first what caught my eye was the fact that this particular mushroom, the underside of it was kind of flipped up, so you can kind of see all the nice little fun ridges of the mushroom. And so that's what caught my eye about it. That, and then it was also just kind of nicely laid amongst these dead leaves and stuff. So it just kind of, it lent itself to a nice composition right out the gate. I took this photo in a couple of different ways. I took one where I was focused kind of like right dead center along the ridges and stuff. And then I went ahead and took about probably somewhere between 6 to 10 photos of different focus points along the mushroom. So that way I could maybe focus stack this in post-processing. So we'll see which one I prefer more, whether it's the focus stacked one or just the one where I just focused in the center, knowing that on the edges on the outside of that are going to be a little bit softer. So we'll see which one I would prefer more, but I just thought it was a really fun little composition of the mushroom. But anyways, I really hope you enjoyed that photo. I was going to talk about, along the trail, I was going to talk about why I chose the lenses that I did, but I decided what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait until I get back to the picnic table so I can just kind of sit down to talk about those two lenses a little bit better. So we will do that here in just a moment. We're getting closer to where the parking lot's at. So don't worry, I have not forgotten about what I was going to talk about in this video. I just decided to do that at the end. So anyways, I'm going to pack up my stuff and then we're going to mosey on down the trail and see what else we find to take some photos of. So we'll see you here in a few. All right, so made it here to the picnic table. I just figured this is going to be way easier to sit here and talk about the lenses and why I made these lens choices that I did. So I guess here's a little backstory. Is I was gifted $2,000 back in May for the purchase of a lens. And well, at that time, I was the first thing I had to do when deciding which lenses to purchase or to even explore was to think about where I wanted to take my photography and where I wanted it to go. And so I thought about what I currently have. So currently, prior to these two lenses right here, I have the 24 to 70 f4 lens for my Nikon Z6, the 70 to 200 f2.8 lens, that's also the Z mount lens, and then I had a 50 millimeter prime lens that's actually an F mount, not a Z mount. So those were the lenses that I had in my possession. And so I, for the longest time, had been wanting kind of like an ultra wide angle lens for more or less for the aspect of being able to do some more nightscape photography and astrophotography, and I really wanted a wide open aperture. So with Nikon, there's currently 3 ultra wide angle lenses. You have your 14 to 30 f4 lens, then you have your 14 to 24 f2.8 lens, and then you have their more newer one, which is the 17 to 28 f2.8 lens. And so I had those 3 lenses that I had to choose from, and they all have a different price point. You have your really expensive f2.8, the 14 to 24 millimeter lens, which is, it's a really great lens, always gets really great reviews, but it's also very pricey. And then you have your 14 to 30, which is an f4 lens. And my hesitation with getting the f4 lens was I was afraid that the aperture alone would hold me back from being able to take some more photographs of like the Milky Way sky. And that was, to me, was one of the main reasons why I really wanted an ultra wide angle lens, was for that particular reason. I also did briefly consider the 20 millimeter prime lens for the Z mount, but ultimately decided that that would just maybe be a little bit too limited. And I think that I was gonna want that extra like 3 millimeters in vantage point or viewpoint and stuff. And so once I realized that f2.0 lens aperture was important, that kind of took out the 14 to 30 f4. And so then I was left with the 14 to 24 lens and then the 17 to 28. And there is, I mean, at that time, there was probably maybe $1,000 difference between those two lenses, which is a significant amount. And so I really had to figure out like what was most important for me. Would I feel limited by the 17 to 28 millimeter lens, or would it be enough? And so when I happened to have rented this lens back at the end of April to do some interior photographs, and I was really impressed with it at that time. And so it came down to price and the realization that I could get the 17 to 28 millimeter lens plus a second lens. And that is ultimately why I decided. It was like I had $2,000, and for the price of, I could get two lenses for basically less money than I was going to be able to buy that 14 to 24 millimeter lens. And that is ultimately why I chose to go the route of the 17 to 28. I have no doubts whatsoever that if I had purchased the 14 to 24 millimeter lens, I would have had zero regrets. But it just really came down to price, and realizing that I could purchase the macro lens. And when I was thinking about my photography from a more broader perspective of where I want to take my photography and how I was going to utilize the lenses the most, I felt that this particular combination, as opposed to just one ultra wide angle lens, or even going for that super telephoto lens like the 180 to 600, or maybe even the 100 to 400 millimeter lens, I felt that these two, for the style photography and where I wanted to take my photography, this lens combination made the most sense for me. So I'm still very much learning all about the macro lens and stuff. It is a totally new lens for me. I've taken some great photos, and I've taken other photos where I just completely missed the mark on it. So I'm still very much learning and utilizing the macro lens, and the same with the ultra wide angle lens. So I've been able to photograph some Milky Way stars when I was back in Nebraska in July. I took this lens with me, and I think I got a really great photo of out in the middle of a cow pasture of the Milky Way sky and some trees and stuff. So, so I have taken some great photos that I'm very happy with these two lenses, and I'm excited to continue exploring utilizing these two lenses into my camera bag. So anyways, that's just kind of a brief, really quick rundown of how I ended up purchasing these two lenses as opposed to a 14 to 24 or the 14 to 30 lens, and how I got the macro lens. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I felt pretty sluggish throughout this video. I'm getting over some allergies apparently and stuff. So it was a slow going day for me, but persevered, made it through, and I feel like a sneeze is going to come on here any moment. It's right there. It's just right there. I feel the sneeze coming. But anyways, I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I'm hoping to get back out there again here soon to do some more photography. So anyways, if you like this video and the photos that I took, please consider giving it a thumbs up and sharing it with your friends and family. If you have not yet subscribed to my channel, I really hope that you do, so you can continue to come along on my photography adventures. And hopefully next time I won't be getting over some allergies. Anyways, you guys have a fantastic rest of your day. We'll see you guys next time. Take care. Bye.